So sitting well. And as you sit well, take a moment to adjust your seat. So with your hands, turn your thighs in and pull the flesh of the buttocks slightly out. If you've got any issues around your sitting bones, like usually you're not going to do that. And then settle the weight of the body down into the sitting bones. Let the buttocks settle. Weight the knees down. Take your fingertips on the ground beside you. And as you push down with the fingertips, lengthen up through the sides of the torso. Move the top of the upper arms slightly back. Without squeezing the shoulder blades in toward the spine, just let the upper arm bones move back to bring the shoulder blades into deeper contact with the upper back. Take the head back and completely relax the face. And then place your hands lightly up or down on your legs. This is a series, stage 2 of 9 practices, celebrating the spring festival of the goddess in the yogic calendar. And last night I shared a story about Durga, one of the goddesses in the yoga collection of gods and goddesses. And if you're interested in hearing that story, you can go on Mona Keti Yoga and find the Facebook Live video. So in the final scene of that story, Durga is in, she's a warrior goddess. So she's in a battle against 2 brothers who she is final scene is that she is wielding multiple weapons, including a sword and a club and mace. And she's able to manage all of those due to her physical capacity. And she's also, and the description is, dancing and twirling between the 2 brothers as she is engaged in the battle. So she's often, Durga is often used as the goddess when we want to invoke strength and courage, because she is the warrior goddess. She's a warrior goddess. And that last battle shows 2 aspects of her strength that are significant. There's the capacity to wield her resources easily and with skill and finesse. And then there is also the capacity to, or the strength to move agilely and to follow the current of the dance that is the battle. And both of those aspects are things that we want to cultivate through our asana practice. We want to cultivate the strength to wield to hold our resources and to wield them with skill and intention. And we want to also build the capacity to agilely move with the flow of the universe or of the world. So to go with what is happening and not battle against it. And so in the asana practice tonight, we will invite the honing, the cultivating, the building of our strength in both of these ways. And what that ultimately does is it builds our capacity to sit fully grounded inside ourselves, immovable, regardless of the circumstances around us. So we're going with the flow. We're not, but we're not pulled outside of ourselves, upset, meaning off kilter. As a consequence of that movement, we're able to navigate within the current that we're in and hold our many resources and wield them with skill at the same time. So with that in mind, close your eyes. And settle your attention on your breath. As you move into the flow of the breath with your attention. Go with it. So follow the breath in and follow the breath out. And let the movement of the breath pull your attention down into your body. So the asana practice cultivates the strength, the kinds of strength that I was just talking about in our physical form, and then that has energetic, psychological, emotional, and spiritual consequences. So as you feel into your form, recognize the strength already present, and invite yourself to set the intention to cultivate, hone, and develop the strength that is within. The strength to hold our resources and to manipulate them as needed, and the strength to move agilely with the circumstances in which we find ourselves. With your next exhalation, join your hands together at your heart. And together we'll Om 3 times. Exhale completely. Take a deep breath in. And then gently bow your head over to your heart. Release your hands down. Lift your head up. And then come over onto your hands and knees. I'm going to move back to the mat. So as you come onto your hands and knees, place your hands shoulder distance apart and slightly turn your hands out. Place the knees underneath the hips and separate the knees, hips distance apart. Tune in again to your breath. And we'll round and arch the back in coordination with the breath. So now as you exhale, tilt the tailbone down, round your spine up toward the sky, let your head hang. As you inhale, lift the tailbone, sway your spine toward the earth, look forward or slightly up. Exhale, round. And inhale, arch. Use these first moments in the movement of the practice to feel into the body. To feel the degree of energy that you're bringing to the practice tonight. And to just notice that without evaluating if it's right or wrong. So we're using these opening movements to really center ourselves inside. One more time in each direction. So exhale, round. Let the head hang. And then as you inhale, arch the back, look forward. And then exhale into a neutral position. From here, keep the low belly lifted. Stretch the right leg straight back behind you with the toes on the ground. Pause there.
Most of us will have shifted a bit to the left. So instead, shift a little to the right and pull the outside of your left hip in toward the midline of the body. Then make your right leg super strong and straight, and keeping the low belly drawing back toward the spine. Lift the leg just to hip height. Pause there. Balance the weight as evenly as possible on the hands. Couple more breaths. Stretch out through the inside edge of the back leg. And now we're going to pulse the back leg 4 or 5 times, lifting it up and down. So go, keep the low belly in. Lift the leg up a little higher without swaying the lower back. Bring it back down to hip height. Inhale up. Exhale down. 3 more times. So keep the low belly back and feel the work in the muscles of the buttocks as you lift the leg up. And then last one. And exhale, bring that knee back down. Stretch the left leg straight back behind you. Tuck the left toes under. Shift the hips a bit to the left and hug the outside of your right hip in toward the midline. Stabilize the weight on both hands as best you can. And keeping the low belly back, lift the leg to hip height. Keep the left toes pointing down and lengthen through the inseam of that leg. Keep squeezing the outside of the right hip in. And then 5 times we'll pulse the left leg. So inhale, lift it up. Exhale down just to hip height. It's not a big movement. Inhale up. Exhale down. 3 more times. Feel what you're using to lift the leg up. And then exhale that knee back down to the ground. Step your right foot forward beside your right hand and walk your left knee further back away from you, keeping the right knee over the right heel. So if your left knee is uncomfortable on the mat here, you can just flip over the edge of the mat. Or if you have a blanket or a pillow close by, you could use that underneath the knee. Option 1 is to keep the hands on the ground. If it's more easeful for you to bring the hands up to the front knee, then do that. And then breathe here. With the next breath in, shift your hips a little bit to the left. Spin the outside of your left hip toward your right big toe. And then squeeze your outer right hip in and pull your right sitting bone toward your right heel. Some of that. Most importantly, breathe. So here we're cultivating in the flexibility of the muscles on the front of the left thigh. We're cultivating that capacity to dance and to move with the currents of life. So if it's helpful for you to sway a little bit back and forth, or to even straighten the right knee a little bit and then bend it back, sometimes that little movement is very helpful in generating ease. And then change sides. So exhale, swing the right foot back. And then step the left foot forward, inhale. Exhale here. So your front knee is over your front heel. Walk your right knee back a little bit and maybe support underneath the right knee as needed. Either hands on the ground or hands up as you did on the first side. Shift your hips a little bit to the right. Swing the outside of your right hip toward your left foot. Engage the muscles on the outside of the left hip and pull the left sitting bone toward your left heel. Breathe. Wherever you are, keep the shoulder blades away from the ears. And then again, if a little movement is helpful, then you bend and straighten, or even shift your hips a little bit side to side. You're wanting to use the movement to create a sense of space or freedom in the sensations in the front of the back thigh. One more breath here. And then exhale, take that foot back and come back to the first side. So right foot forward, right knee over right heel, walk the left knee back. This time, tuck your back toes under. So you can come up on your fingertips. You can make fists with your hands, or you can have the hands flatter. Whatever gives you a sense of space for the breath. So with your back leg strong and straight, lift it up, just like when you were lifting it from the hands and knees a moment ago. Spin the outside of your left hip toward your right big toe and squeeze your outer right hip in, pulling your right sitting bone down toward your right heel. Look forward. Now to change sides, you could drop the back knee and switch, or you could step the back foot forward and then take the front foot back. So now left knee is over left heel and the right leg is straight. Lift the top of the back thigh up, just like when you were pulsing that leg. So you feel the buttocks there, engaging. Shift your hips a little bit to the right. Pull your left sitting bone toward your left heel. One more breath. And then pushing off with your back foot, step forward. Exhale, standing forward bend. So take your feet wider apart, especially if the muscles on the backs of the legs are less happy with this position. With the outside edges of the feet parallel with the long edges of your mat, bend your knees until all of your fingertips touch the ground and let your head hang. Lightly push the heels apart without actually moving them. And then squeeze the muscles of the outer hips strongly in. So you're pushing the heels apart with your feet. And then at the same time, as you squeeze the outer hips in, it feels like your heels are trying to come closer together. So you feel the strength in the muscles of the outer hips and the legs. And then if you're feeling like you would like more, as you inhale, stretch the legs straighter, go straight up with the legs. And as you exhale, fold the torso more fully over the thighs. One more breath. Bend the knees deeply. Heel toe your feet right in together until they touch. So the inner edges of the feet touch each other. Keeping the knees deeply bent. Squeeze the outer hips in until you feel a little lift in the low belly. And then inhale, bring the arms just to shoulder height. Lift the chest. Turn the palms down. And pull the upper arms back into the shoulder sockets so that you can feel a lift in the chest. Bring the weight down into the heels. Squeeze the outer hips in. Scoop the low belly slightly back toward the spine and up. So that's the area below the navel and above the pubic bone. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, fold over the legs, touch the fingertips to the ground. Release the torso completely over the thighs. This is just a little break here. You can stretch the legs a little straighter if that's what your legs are able to do here. And then one more time, deeply bend the knees, sink the weight into the heels. Engage the muscles of the outer hips and the buttocks. Lift the chest, bring the arms to shoulder height. With the palms down, pull the upper arm bones back into the shoulder socket so it feels like you're making your arms shorter. Find the strength to hold yourself here. And as you find that strength, concentrate concentrate the attention on the outer hips, the buttocks, the low belly, and the muscles of the thighs on the front and the back. See if you can sink just a little lower, one more breath. And then exhale, fold over. Place the hands flat on the mat and step one foot and then the other all the way back into downward facing dog. We're just using this as a transition. So take a deep breath in here, push your hands down, pull your hips back. And then with your next exhalation, bend your knees, place your knees on the ground, and turn over and lie down on your back. So if your chin is lifted, and it is uncomfortable here to have the head down on the ground, grab a pillow or a blanket and place it behind the head. And then with the knees bent and the feet on the ground, draw the right knee in toward the chest and grab hold of the back of the right thigh with your hands. Flex the foot a little bit. And then push the right heel away from you to move the leg into the hand, the thigh into the hands. Keep that. Squeeze the outside of the right hip in. Feel the work in the buttocks. And now stretch the leg straight. As you stretch the leg straighter, reach the heel up. Push the thigh bone into the hands. Exhale, bend the leg again. Push the heel away from you so that the leg moves into the hands. And then stretch the leg straighter. Push the heel toward the ceiling. But most importantly, push the thigh into the hands. And then bend. Push the heel away from you toward the wall. And then keeping the thigh pushing into the hands, stretch the leg straighter. And then bend and release and change sides. So keeping the right leg bent, bend the left knee in, catch the back of the left thigh with your hands. Flex your foot. Push the thigh away from you into the hand so it stretches your arms straighter. If that's not appropriate for your shoulders, then grab a sweater or a cloth or something to hold the thigh so that you're not pulling the shoulders in a painful position. And then as you push the heel away from you and keeping the thigh bone pressing into the hand, stretch the leg straighter. Exhale, bend it back down again. Push the heel away from you. Keep the weight even across the back of the pelvis and stretch the leg straighter. Feel the strength that you're using to press the leg straight. So it's not just purely the flexibility, but you're finding strength. Bend the leg, you're finding strength in the outer hip on the left side and in the thigh muscles. The front of the thigh on the left leg. Stretch the leg straight. And then bend and release. Take your arms to your sides. Keeping the knees bent. Draw the low belly down toward the ground so that the muscles in that space between the top of the pubic bone and the bottom of the navel tone and draw in. So that core strength there is very important, and we want to be able to access that. This might bring the lower back in contact with the ground, but it doesn't have to. Keeping the low belly down without letting it pop up toward the sky, take the legs one at a time up so that the knees are just over the hips. Flex the feet. Engage the muscles of the buttocks and keep the low belly down. Breathe. Hold. And really become, as best you can, aware of the engagement of the muscles in the low belly. Inhale, exhale, Place the feet down on the ground. Stretch your left leg straight on the mat. Bend your right leg in again, catch the back of the right thigh. Flex the right foot. Push the heel away from you. And stretch the leg straighter. It doesn't have to go all the way straight, but you're stretching it as straight as possible. At the same time, press the back of the left thigh bone into the ground. Keep a little hollow behind the lower back. So the navel, the area behind the navel, is slightly lifted away from the floor. And very strongly push out through the right heel. Now release your hands. Take your hands to your sides. And then lightly draw the leg a little closer to you wherever you're at. So if you've got any discomfort in your sitting bone area, then don't do that. But otherwise, leg in a little bit and then back out. Leg in a little bit and back out. 3 more times. Pulse like this with the breath. And then bend and release and change sides. So extend the right leg straight on the ground. Bend the left leg in and catch the back of the thigh for a moment. Push the thigh into the hands. Flex the foot. Stretch the leg straighter. Again, it doesn't have to go all the way straight, but you're pushing the back of the right thigh bone down. Keep the weight even across the back of the pelvis and feel a little hollow behind the lower back. Now pushing the left heel up toward the sky, release your hands, and then 5 times pulse a little bit forward and back. So leg closer to you and then back. Move with the breath. Last time. And then bend and release. 1 more abdominal set. So bending the knees, place the feet on the ground. And it's helpful to feel the lower belly and to then feel the tone in the low belly also with the fingertips. So as you tone the low belly, the lower back again may come down to the ground, but not because you're tilting the pelvis, just because you're hugging those low belly muscles in and then honing that strength. Take the legs one at a time back up, keeping the low belly down. Flex the feet a little bit. Engage the muscles around the outer hips and draw the low belly toward the spine. Breathe. Feel the strength in the deep internal muscles of the low belly, or cultivate the strength of the muscles there. Inhale, exhale. Place the feet on the ground. Roll all the way over to your right side and come up to stand. Stand in the middle of the mat. And then with the breath in, step your feet really, really wide apart. Rotate your left foot slightly in, and then turn your right leg and foot completely out. From there, press the top of the left thigh bone back toward the wall behind you and really strongly plant your back heel so that the connection down through the back heel is such that you are completely stable and a large wind coming could not sweep you off of your left heel. Plant the big toe side of your front foot and then inhale, stretch the arms to the sides. Warrior 2 position, inhale here. And now as you exhale, push into your back heel and deeply bend your front knee. As you deeply bend your front knee, lengthen along the inside edge of your front thigh. Push into your front heel and bend your front knee so that your front sitting bone moves forward toward your front heel. At the same time, press the top of the left thigh bone back and descend down into your left heel. Hug in the low belly muscles. Drop the shoulder blades and turn to look out past your right fingertips. Breathe. And then pushing down into both heels, inhale, stretch the front leg straight. Release your arms. Turn your feet, and then the other side. Turn your right foot in slightly. Rotate your left leg and foot straight out. Push the top of your right thigh bone back and stamp your back heel, your right heel, firmly into the ground. Push the big toe side of your front foot down, and then inhale, take the arms to the sides. Feeling into the strength of the legs. Exhale, bend your front knee and sit down, feeling like the muscles of the legs are supporting you from underneath. Lengthen the inside of the left thigh. Sink your front sitting bone toward your front heel while pushing into your back heel. Hug the low belly back toward the spine so that the buttocks reach down toward the earth. Keeping a slight bend in the elbows, drop the shoulder blades away from the ears and turn to look past your front fingertips. As you breathe, feel into the strength that's holding you. Cultivate that so that you're standing strong, steady, and grounded in your body in the circumstances in which we find ourselves. And pushing into both heels, inhale, stretch the front leg straight, lower the arms, turn the feet, and then inhale, step the feet together. Keeping the feet together so that the big toe sides of the feet touch. Inhale, stretch your right arm up alongside your right ear. Lengthen up all along the right side of the torso. And turn the right arm so that you spin the outside of the arm more around toward your cheek. Put your left hand on your left thigh, inhale. And as you exhale, side bend to the left. So shift your hips a bit to the right. Squeeze your legs together so that all the space between the legs completely disappears. And it feels like there's just one leg that you're standing on. Shifting the hips to the right, now breathe into the right side of the torso and fold a little more deeply over. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, that arm down. And then change sides. So inhale, the left arm up. Let the shoulder blade lift. Turn the outside of the arm toward you. Placing the right hand against the right thigh. Squeeze the legs together. Make all the space between. Really feel the outside of the legs moving. With your next exhalation, shift your hips to the left and lean over to the right. As you lean over to the right, squeeze the legs together and push down into both heels. Breathe into the left side of the torso. Keep the chin up just a little bit, the chest up just a little bit. Good. And then inhale, come back up. Exhale, take the arms down. Warrior two variation. So inhale, step the feet really wide apart. And as you step the feet wide apart, turn the left leg and foot in. Rotate the right leg and foot out. Inhale, stretch the arms to the sides. Again, very strongly push the top of the left thigh bone back and descend the left heel down into the earth. And keeping that exhale, bend your front knee and lengthen the inside edge of the leg. So as you lengthen the inside edge of the leg, firm the outside edge of the leg. So it's like you pull in from the outside of your knee to the outside of your hip. Then rotate your whole right arm up. Drop your left hand down to your left thigh. Stretch the right arm alongside the ear, just like you did before. And now keeping your front knee bent, lean back to the left. Bend the front knee deeply. Keep lengthening through the inside edge of the front leg. Slide your left hand down your left thigh. And then inhale, arms back up. Stretch the front leg straight. Exhale, turn your feet, lower the arms. And we'll change sides. So turn the right foot in, rotate the left leg and foot out. Inhale, stretch the arms to the sides. Pushing down into your right heel, exhale and deeply bend your left knee. Lengthen through the inside edge of the leg, shorten the outside edge of the leg, and push the front sitting bone all the way down to the front heel, metaphorically. Plant your back heel, turn the whole left arm up, sweep it alongside your ear as you put the right hand on the thigh, and then with your next exhalation, lean back. So cultivate the capacity to keep the front knee bent and the front inner thigh lengthening, and at the same time lean back. So you're managing multiple actions at the same time, practicing our capacity to manage multiple resources at once. And then inhale, come back up with the arms, stretch the front leg straight, turn the feet. Inhale, step the feet together. Standing forward bend, just as a pause. So separate the feet and go wider versus narrower, unless you have a lot of capacity in the forward bend. Make the outside edges of your feet parallel. Inhale. As you exhale, hinge from the tops of the legs, fold all the way over. Release your head. Bend the knees as much as you need to give yourself a sense of respite, a little pause. And as the breath settles, perhaps add more. So if the pause is what's most needed, then you just keep your knees bent and let your torso kind of dangle over the legs. If more seems appropriate, lightly push the heels apart and at the same time squeeze the outside of the hips in toward the midline until you feel the low belly lift. Maintain both actions. So heels out, hips in, low belly lifting. Stretch the legs straighter by sending the backs of the legs up toward the sky. And then fold the torso more deeply down over the legs. Feel again that you're not just hanging in flexibility, but you're cultivating the strength to hold the pose. And then that capacity to hold the pose with our strength and our solidity grounds us deeply and allows us to discern resources that we need at any given moment, and also gives us the capacity to move with what is happening, with the flow, as opposed to against it. And that is the true strength of the yogi. And then bend the knees a little bit, put the hands on the hips, lift the chin. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, feet together. So we're going to do a little preparation for warrior one. So come to the front edge of the mat, the short edge of the mat, and put your hands on your hips. Keep your right foot where it is. Step the left foot straight back, like a reasonable step, keeping the heel lifted with the back foot. Bend both knees and sit down. Now really feel the outside of your right buttocks and the area underneath the buttocks at the sitting bone. Hug there, stamp your front heel down, and then pushing off with your front foot, lift your back knee forward and up, and then put your back foot, the left foot back down on the ground. We're going to do that a few times on each side, switching back and forth side to side. So now, left foot forward, step your right foot back, bend both knees. As you bend both knees, hug the outside of the left hip in, push into your left heel, and then that's the strength that you're going to use to bring your back knee, the right knee forward and up, and then right foot on the ground. Left foot back, heel up, bend both knees, sit down. Hug the outer hip in, feel the engagement around the sitting bones of the right leg. Press into your right heel, and then lift the back knee forward and up, and then left foot on the ground. One more time on each side, but this is the second time on the left side. So bend both knees, right foot back, bend both knees, firmly outside of the left hip, squeeze there, and then inhale, back knee forward and up, exhale, right foot on the ground. So back to the first side, left foot back, bend both knees, hug the right outer hip, stamp your front heel, inhale, back knee forward and up, exhale, foot on the ground. Last time, last side. So right foot back, bend both knees, hug the outside of the right hip, left hip under you. Feel the strength and power there. And from there, push off, lift the right knee, exhale, right foot down. Good. So now, again, face the long edge of your mat and step your feet really wide apart. Warrior one. So from here, spin your left foot in 60 degrees. So really you're turning it around as much as possible, basically. Turn your right leg and foot out and move your right foot over to the right so that you have enough capacity to bring the outside of your left hip and the left side of your rib cage forward. Keeping that with your hands on your hips. Now really push down into your back heel. And keeping your back heel well planted. Exhale, bend your front knee, and as you bend your front knee, squeeze the outside of that hip in. Pull your front sitting bone toward your front heel. Hug the low belly back. Lift the chest up. You can keep your hands on your hips because I really want you to feel into the strength of the legs, or you can stretch the arms up alongside the ears. Wherever you're at, plant your back heel and feel as the top of the left thigh bone moves back, the buttocks wrap around it and hug it there. At the same time, bend your front knee, send your front sitting bone toward your front heel, and squeeze that hip in. So you hold the strength in the legs, and that gives a certain freedom, maybe even a lightness to the arms. And it also gives a lift to the chest. Push into both heels. Inhale, stretch your front leg straight. Lower your arms, turn your feet. Exhale. Line up your toes in case you moved your feet. And then the second side. So spin your right foot in 60 degrees. Rotate your left leg and foot out. And move your left foot over to the left. Spin the entire right leg around so that the outside of the hip and the right side of the rib cage turn toward the short edge of the mat here. Plant your back heel very strongly. And now keeping your back heel planted and moving back. Bend your front knee, sending your front sitting bone forward toward your front heel. Hug the outside of your left hip strongly in. Press the top of your right thigh bone back and wrap the buttocks around the top of that thigh. Either keep your hands on your hips, or if you did it on the first side, stretch the arms up. Breathe. As you breathe, feel the strength and holding the strength in the leg, some more movement and fluidity in the leg at the same time. One more breath. Inhale, stretch the front leg straighter. Exhale, lower the arms, turn the feet. And then inhale, step the feet back together. Release the arms. So I'm just going to turn to the side for a moment. The next pose we're going to do is a variation of Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. So you're going to stand, and you might just want to watch for a moment. You're going to stand on the right leg, step the left leg back, keep the pelvis facing forward, and then you're going to tilt. So torso comes forward, and back leg lifts up to hip height. So you can do this with your hands on your hips, or you can take the arms up alongside the ears. So facing the short edge of the mat, put the hands on the hips. Stand on your right foot, step your left foot back, you're just on the toes. Now hug the outside of the right hip in. You want to feel like you're doing the same thing that we did when we lifted the back knee forward and up. So as you hug that hip in, lift the chest. If you're taking your arms overhead, inhale the arms overhead. And then as you exhale, tilt the torso forward. Lift the back knee up. As you lift the back leg up. As you lift the back leg, lift the inside edge of the leg. Squeeze the outer hips together. Lengthen the front of the torso. Lift the chest. And then inhale. Come back up, firming the outside of your right hip. Exhale. Release your arms. Take a breath. And then change sides. This is a pose that's very hard to talk while doing. So standing on your left foot, step your right foot back a little bit, come on the tips of the toes. Yes?
You're frozen. Your camera is frozen. Okay, you're back.
I'm back? Okay. Thank you. Seems like maybe we don't have the best connection tonight. There's a recording on Facebook Live, and I also have the Zoom recording. So if you'd like the recording, you can just email me, or you can go to Mona Kitty Yoga, and you can find the live video there. So stand on your left foot, step your right foot back, firm the outside of your left hip, and then keeping the outside of the left hip very strong and firm. Lean the torso forward, lift the back leg up. As you lift the back leg up, keep both sides of the pelvis even and equal so you're not rolling your right hip up toward the sky. Stretch back through the right heel. Reach the crown of the head away from your back heel. And then inhale, come back up. Exhale, foot down. Come and stand at the front of your mat. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, fold all the way down over the legs. So separate the feet as much as you need to. Bend the knees as you need to touch the fingertips to the ground. And with the outside edges of the feet parallel the long edges of the mat, lightly push your heels apart. Hug the outside of the hips in and peel the low belly back off the top of the thighs. Now maintaining that work in the legs, perhaps stretch the legs straighter by sending the backs of the legs up, especially the back of the thighs straight up from the earth, as opposed to back toward the wall behind you. Reach the crown of the head down toward the ground. And bring the chest closer to your thighs as best you can, while keeping the low belly drawing slightly back. Inhale, bend the knees, place the fingertips beside the ankles, and step the left foot all the way back into a straight leg lunge. Have your front knee over your front heel. And then again, draw your front sitting bone down toward your front heel, hug the outside of that hip in, and then bring your hands up to your front knee. Feel the work in the legs holding you steady. So the strength gives you balance. And then cross the left elbow over the right knee and join the palms together. If it's in your capacity to take the left fingertips to the ground and then stretch the right arm up, that would be another option. Wherever you are, push your push your front heel down and lift your back thigh up. Draw the shoulder blades away from your ears and twist the torso toward your thumbs. One more breath. And then inhale, unwrap, touch the ground. Step your back foot forward. Exhale. Inhale, step the right foot back. Make sure your front knee is over your front heel. Lift the top of your back thigh up. Squeeze the legs together and bring your hands up to your front knee. Send your front sitting bone toward your front heel. Squeeze the other hips together and make your back leg strong and straight. And then hook your right elbow across your left thigh. Take whatever variation you did on the first side. So palms together, or right hand down, left arm up. Keeping the legs strong, draw the shoulder blades away from your ears. And find strength to hold yourself steady, to breathe, and then to twist the torso more to the left. Inhale, unwrap. Place your hands flat on the ground. And as you exhale, step all the way back into downward facing dog. Slightly bend the elbows. Point the elbows out to the sides. Press into the knuckles at the base of the first fingers. And push the base of the thumbs firmly down. So with the elbows slightly bent, turn the points of the elbows, so the knobs at the outsides of the elbows, turn them around toward the baby toes of the feet. And lift the undersides of the arms strongly away from the earth. And now pull your hips back, away from the wrists until you feel the low belly lift. Keep rotating the triceps, the outsides of the arms toward the sides of the face, and press down into your heels, whether or not your heels touch the ground. Inhale, exhale, bend your knees to the floor, and lie all the way down on your stomach. Take a little pause here with the arms in whatever position is comfortable. And as you take the pause, move your attention more deeply in. So sometimes in the pause, when there's less going on, we drift away. So tune into the felt sense of the body. A big part of the asana practice is just to reconnect all the parts of our body together so that we can hold our awareness in our entire form as one entity. So as you feel into the aliveness that the practice is creating, notice also the movement of the breath. Feel into any areas that are fatigued and any areas that are awake. And then bring your forehead back center. And we have to figure out how to turn off the phone part of this. Sorry. So, as you lie on your stomach, either take your hands just by your legs with the palms turned up, or if your shoulders allow for you to hook the thumbs behind your back, hook your thumbs. In whatever position you're in, press the tops of the feet down, lift the low belly back, and firm the muscles of the buttocks. Now lift the tops of the upper arms away from the ground without particularly squeezing the shoulder blades toward the spine. Just lift the upper arms back away from the floor. And now with the next exhalation, you're going to lift the head and chest up off the ground. So exhale, peel the head and chest back away from the floor. Lift your hands in whatever position they're in. And reach the fingertips toward the toes. Lift the tops of the upper arms away from the ground as much as possible. Look forward or maybe slightly up. Exhale. And come down. Change the hook of the thumbs if you've hooked the thumbs behind you. Plant the big toes of the feet in particular down. And then also plant the baby toes of the feet. Lift the low belly up and firm the muscles of the buttocks, especially right where the buttocks and the backs of the thighs meet. Lift the tops of the shoulders away from the ground, the top of the upper arms. Take a deep breath in, exhale, peel the head and shoulders back away from the ground. Pull your fingertips toward your feet. Move the tops of the upper arms away from the ground. And press the shoulder blades firmly into the upper back. Lift the chest. And then exhale and come down. Release your arms. With your hands at your sides, bring your chin to the ground. If that's not appropriate for your neck, then put your forehead on the ground. But if you can put your chin on the ground, put your chin there and walk your chin a little forward, away from your chest. Peel up the low belly. Engage the muscles of the buttocks. And then we're gonna lift the legs up. The chest and the head might lift a bit, that's fine, but I want you to concentrate on lifting the legs. So one option is to lift the right leg the first time and the left leg the second time, and the other option is to lift both legs both times. So whatever you're choosing, and it takes a particular kind of strength to make the appropriate choice there, and that's the kind of strength we're cultivating. So as you peel back the low belly and engage the muscles of the buttocks, take a deep breath in, and then exhale, lift either the right leg or both legs. Maybe lift the chin a little bit, but keep slightly reaching it forward away from the chest. Keep both sides of the pelvis on the ground, especially if you're lifting just the right leg. And then lift the leg up as high as possible. Exhale, bring it back down. Pause, take a breath. Walk the chin a little bit forward. Peel back the low belly. Firm the muscles of the buttocks. And then this time we'll lift either the left leg or both legs a second time. So take a deep breath in. Exhale, lift the left leg and maybe both legs. So again, the head and chest might lift, that's fine, but concentrate on lifting the legs, make them as straight as possible. And then exhale down. And now we're going to take the arms in front. So if the arms go straight up alongside the head, great. If not, you can do it with the elbows bent and the arms to the sides. And if really that's not working for the shoulders, then you just place the hands back in the position that you were in. We're going to lift the head, chest, the opposite arm and leg. So it'll be right leg, left arm, head, chest. And we're going to come up, hold that, come down, and then change. So keeping the low belly back, firm the muscles of the buttocks. Exhale, lift the head, chest, the right leg, the left arm. And then inhale, come down. Exhale, lift the left leg, head, chest, right arm. Exhale, down. A couple more times on each side. Inhale, right leg, head, chest, left arm. Exhale, down. And then other side. And down. One more time on each side. Feel what you're using to lift the back leg. And then down. And then feel what you're using to lift the arm. And back down. And then place the hands under the shoulders, press up onto your hands and knees, and turn around and lie down on your back. So bridge pose. Set your body up. Bend the knees, place the feet hip bone distance apart. Have the heels slightly wider than the toes. And then bend the elbows so that the fingertips point straight up to the sky. And press the tops of the upper arms strongly down into the ground so that the tops of the upper arms are heavier than the elbows. Curl the lower back slightly up away from the ground and pause there. And now squeeze the outside of the hips in. Take a deep breath in, lift your hips just up an inch or two. Scoop the tops of the shoulders underneath you. Press the top of the upper arm bones down. Now, firming the buttocks right where the buttocks and the backs of the thighs meet. So right around the sitting bones. Push into the heels, and then using the strength there, lift the hips way up. Keeping the elbows bent for a moment, press the top of the upper arm bones down. Push the heels down and use the muscles of the lower half of the buttocks to lift the hips up strong. Then release your arms. Grab hold of the edges of your mat and strongly turn the upper arms out and curl the chest all the way up to the chin. As you lower the hips down, maintain a slight curve. Roll to your right side. Sit up. Purvo Konasana, reverse table. So take the hands a good 6 or 8 inches behind you. And take the hands wider apart so that, as you might be able to see, much of my pinky, ring, and middle finger are off the mat. So turn the hands either straight out to the sides or slightly more forward toward the toes. Separate the feet hip bone distance apart. Bend the elbows toward the wall behind you and keep them from squeezing in toward each other. So they're just bent. And now lift the chest up. As you lift the chest up, feel the shoulder blades push into the upper back. Press your heels down. Take a deep breath in. Lift your hips way up. As you lift the hips way up, lift the chest. Keep the elbows slightly bent and the elbows moving away from each other. Press the shoulder blades into the upper back. Look up. And then exhale slowly and come down. We're going to do that one more time. If you know this pose and it's appropriate to do it with the legs straight, do that. If this causes any discomfort in the front of the shoulders here, then just stay in the prep position before you lift. You get lots of benefit here. So with either the legs straight or the knees bent, feet on the ground, bend the elbows, point the elbows slightly, like so they don't move away from each other, but they're also not moving in. They're just straight back. Lift the chest up. As you lift the chest up, push down into the knuckles at the base of the first fingers, the heels of the thumbs, and really feel the shoulder blades press into the upper back. Either staying here, if that's a better choice for you, or inhale, lift up, lift the hips. In whatever position the legs are, lift the hips as high as possible. If the legs are straight, lift them higher. Press the shoulder blades into the upper back. Keep a tiny bend in the elbows. Look up, maybe look back. Inhale, and then exhale. Hips down. And lie all the way back down on your back. Just pause here. So perhaps take a pillow or a blanket folded for behind your head. Feel the breath and feel the body. And then keeping the left foot on the ground, just cross your right ankle on your left thigh. We'll have a tendency to wiggle the pelvis here to make that happen, but as best you can, stabilize the pelvis so that both sides of the back of the pelvis are equal in weight. Then put your right hand lightly on your right thigh. And without tilting the pelvis or shifting or wiggling, that's not going with the flow. So going with the flow is the capacity to hold ourselves steady and stable and move within that steady, stable place. So we want the pelvis to be contained, and then lightly use your right hand to press the right thigh out and away from you. So option 1 is to stay here. Option 2 is to lift the left knee up, reach the right hand through in between both legs and catch the back of the left thigh. If you can reach around and touch the shin, that would be another option. More importantly, feel the weight across the back of the pelvis. And here, even if your lower back is touching the ground, it's not weight bearing. And if you're, especially if you're more, if this pose is more available to your body, have more of a curve in the lower back, a little bit. If your left knee is up, draw your left knee toward your left shoulder. But mostly practice being at a level of sensation that allows the breath to be fluid. And there's a feeling sense that we can follow the breath and the body can respond and open and move through a sense of ease as opposed to a sense of force. So strength isn't force, it's that capacity to be steady and grounded and to move with agility in the dance of life, even when it feels like a battle. Release the hands. Put the left foot on the ground, uncross the right. Pause. And then cross the left ankle on the right thigh. Watch that tendency to shift in the pelvis and adjust. If you did so, both sides of the pelvis are equal in weight. And you feel that in the back of the pelvis, contact with earth. And then put your left hand on your left thigh, lightly and gently press the left thigh away from you without wiggling the pelvis or shifting there. And either stay here, or if you did it on the first side, lift the right knee in, touch the back of the right thigh, or maybe the front of the shin. Breathe. And use the strength of presence to confirm that you're in the most appropriate position for you and adjust as needed. Follow the breath all the way into the place of sensation and let the breath out carry sensation out of the body like a river carrying stones in its current. Maybe draw the right knee in a little bit more. And release the hands. Put the right foot down and cross the left. Now cross the right knee all the way over the left. So your knees are stacked and the legs are completely crossed. And then lift the knees up. You can hold the top knee maybe the bottom knee, or depending, you may have the capacity to reach around and hold the outside of the ankles. Wherever you're at, breathe. Move the feet away from each other. So the left foot moves to the right, and the right foot moves to the left. Again, watch the tendency to just wiggle the pelvis, and instead keep the pelvis contained. Move the feet apart. Draw the knees in. Breathe. If you feel minimal sensation, then you need to become more subtle in your feeling into the experience. And if you feel a lot of sensation, if the breath is fluid, great. If it feels constricted and you're fighting with yourself to stay in the position, ease off. So again, that's not the strength that we're talking about here. And then release the hands. Put the left foot down, uncross the right. And then change sides. So left leg crosses all the way over the right. Lift the knees up. You can catch the top knee or the bottom knee, or maybe reach around and hold the base of the shins, or maybe even the outside of the feet. Move the feet away from each other. And if you're holding your ankles or your feet, you can use your arms to assist that a little bit. Keep moving your attention to the place of sensation and bring the breath there with you. Let each exhalation dissolve sensation. Couple more breaths. And then release the hands. Put the right foot down and cross the left. Just for a moment, draw both knees toward the chest. And then roll all the way over to your right side and sit up. So we're gonna finish the active part of the practice with a seated forward bend, seated cross-legged forward bend. So if your body is resistant to this shape and this forward movement from a cross-legged position, then you simply slide back down and repeat this position. Either just pressing the hand away from you or lifting the knee up and holding there. If the seated cross-legged forward bend is appropriate for you, then cross your legs so that the knees are a little closer together and the feet are wider apart, as opposed to having the knees wide and the feet close. So knees close, feet wide. With your hands, lightly turn the thigh bones in. Weight the flesh of the body down. Take your fingertips in front of you. And as you exhale, walk the hands some amount forward. It's really immaterial how far forward you go. It's more about being in a position that you can use the weight of the buttocks to pull a little length in the muscles along the spine, the muscles of the back. So lightly below belly back, just enough to keep the abdomen from spilling forward. Draw the shoulder blades a little bit away from the ears, unless you're really far over and your hands are extended completely out in front of you, in which case the shoulder blades can lift more toward the head. But along the way, keep the shoulder blades down. Lengthen the back of the neck. And then walking the hands back in, inhale, come on up. Exhale, change the cross of the legs so the other shin is in front. And if you're on the floor, then you're just releasing the hands, putting the left foot down, uncrossing the right, and then changing sides. If you're seated, turn your thighs in with your hands. Place your hands in front of you, and keeping the buttocks heavy and the low belly just slightly drawing back, walk the hands some amount forward. Because we've done a lot of work in the hips tonight, and just let the muscles of the buttocks release as best as you can. Feel the low belly sitting just slightly back. It's just a very soft movement here. Holding the low belly muscles are just holding the lower abdominal organs in their appropriate position. Lengthen the back of the neck. Tune into the breath and simply watch the breath move fluidly and freely in and out of the body. And then inhale, walk the hands back in. From ground, release the position, and then everybody lie on your back for the final relaxation. So perhaps support the back of your head with a blanket, perhaps have a pillow or something rolled, a blanket rolled up behind the knees, and then lie down on your back. I'm going to come closer to the cameras again. So as you settle into a comfortable position, make sure you're warm and relaxed. As you position the legs, take them a little wider than the outside of the hips and let the legs roll open completely to the sides. Take the arms either to the sides of the body and rotate the arms so that the palms face up. Or bend the elbows and place the palms down on the torso. Gently close your eyes. Feel into the breath. And over the next few exhalations, let the weight of your body settle more and more deeply into the earth. Completely relax the belly. Soften the muscles on the tops of the shoulders and the throat.
And then especially and completely relax the muscles of the face. So especially release the jaw so that there's a little space between the back teeth. Soften the lips. Relax the eyes so that there's nowhere that the eyes need to look. There's nothing they need to see. Soften the cheeks and smooth out the forehead. As you let go of any effort, feel into the entire body as best you can, holding a sense of your body as one whole entity. Become aware of the movement of the breath. And perhaps have a sense that the whole body slightly expands with the inhalation and slightly releases with the exhalation. Over the next couple of cycles of breath, trace the inhale all the way down into the very center of you, the heart of your being, and watch the exhalation emerge from that same space. And recognize it is the capacity to stay grounded in our center that is the true strength that we cultivate through the practice of yoga. And that from that connection to our center, we can wield our resources with ease and move with agility, flowing with the current in which we find ourselves. To practice resting in your center.
Very gently deepen your breath. The next deeper breath in, bend the elbows and lightly place the palms on the belly if they're not already there. And then one at a time, bend the knees, place the feet down on the mat. And supporting the head with the right arm as needed. Roll all the way over to your right side and pause on your right side. And then using your left hand, press yourself up. Come to sit. And sit for just a moment with the eyes closed. Join your hands together in front of your heart. May we stay grounded in our center and move with strength and agility from that place. Exhale. Take a deep breath in for 1 Om. Gently bow your head to your heart. Release your hands. I'm just going to unmute you all so we can say goodnight. Thank you so much for your participation, and it's lovely to see you all. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mona.
Nice to see
Thank you, Mona.
you. You're welcome.
Hey.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mona.
Nice
Thank
to
you, Mona.
see you all.
Thank you.
Yeah, you. Have a great night. Tomorrow night, mantra and meditation, if you're interested. Again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Who's the woman I went to Mexico with? Who works for the publisher?